I got a comment on one of my Claude Code versus Codex videos asking whether I recommend putting $20 each in Claude Code and Codex, or just betting in on the $100 plan on one of them. And I think this is a super good question because it completely avoids the whole which AI is better trap that turns into a religious debate in like 8 seconds. And it's more focused on like which one's the better buy, like what's the more useful of the two. So in this video, I'm going to talk about where I would spend my money in AI right now, why free AI is never really free, and why my answer is going in on the Codex and OpenAI environment. Let's get into it. I guess the first thing to talk about is like, why are we paying for AI in the first place? There are free models available, and I'm going to talk about that, but keep in mind local models are a different story. Free models are great for casual stuff, like the basic sort of implementations about like summarization, asking a few questions, maybe organizing a file system, things like that. But as soon as you get into heavier applications, you start paying for it in other ways. Whether it's the model limitations or the context window being really, really small, or you get rate limited, or it's just not available. Those are all very real obstacles you might have to face when using free APIs. Or if that's not the case, you pay for it with your data because they use your information to train the models down the line. If it's free, you're the product, right? Which is not the best deal either. I'm sure you can see the conflict there with like business applications and how this is not the ideal route to go. The next thing would be like, why would you lock yourself into a subscription with one provider when OpenRouter exists, for example, where you have access to all the providers at API costs, right? And that last part is the important part. OpenRouter is fantastic. I use it all the time, and it's really great to try out different models and see what I like. But the thing with that is you're basically paying retail. You use the model, you pay for tokens, makes a lot of sense, and that's very fair, except with some of these frontier models, that gets expensive very quickly. Subscriptions are different. All these subscription plans, regardless of provider, are subsidized like crazy, anywhere from 5 to 20x API costs, depending on your plan and whatnot. And that's why the math gets really, really weird. Like, for example, I pay $100 in Codex usage for my subscription, but my actual inference, if I was doing the same sort of API billing, is anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 in inference. And that's average. The point is, if you're using AI a lot through the week, the subscription is definitely the better deal by like a ridiculous margin. Okay, so now we're all on the same page, right? We all agree that subscriptions are the most economical way to go. I hope we all agree on that at the very least. Which brings us now to the question that the user asked, whether you should buy two $20 plans or one larger $100 plan on either platform. And the reason that is so good is because it's not worried about specific benchmarks. It's more about economy and what gets you the most value for the dollar. And for me right now, the clear winner is the OpenAI environments, and specifically Codex. Quick caveat before everybody loses their mind. I'm not saying every other tool is trash, right? Like Claude Code has its uses. Cursor's really good. I've heard good things about other platforms. I'm just saying, to answer that specific question, what takes you the farthest for each dollar? Codex has a lot of really, really compelling arguments for it. And I mean, this is coming from experience after having used a lot of these other platforms. And I mean, if you're watching this video, you and I probably work in similar sort of circumstances, right? And that's where I think Codex has the edge. It's more of an ecosystem that is accessible and meets you as a user on a couple different levels, whether it's your VPS, whether it's a custom harness, whether it's the desktop app, which is phenomenal. I'm going to go through all that in just a second. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Either way, something to consider. First things first, why the $100 plan over the $20 plan, right? Because the usage on the $20 plan is actually pretty good, but the number one advantage with the $100 plan is the extra usage. You get 5 or 20x more usage, and the other nice thing is you get maximum thinking and reasoning with the most up-to-date models. Another one I've been using a lot lately is unlimited image generation, which is pretty sweet. I actually used the $20 plan until I outgrew it, and the $100 plan has been fantastic thus far. Not just for me in running my agents, but my wife has actually started to use the same plan, and she's been getting started in this space with the Codex desktop app. So I mean, it's not just good for me, the usage is a huge upgrade. With that, I guess we'll talk about how I actually use this subscription, and layer one is going to sound very boring, but it's something I still use all the time, and that's ChatGPT. ChatGPT desktop app is still pretty sick. The hotkey alt space just pops up this here window. Since I have access to image generation and the best models and all my projects and stuff, this is actually really, really helpful for quick one-off sort of things. We all know what ChatGPT does for us, okay? The bigger unlock though is the Codex desktop app, which is needlessly good. It starts off with this just boring window, like it looks like Anti-Gravity used to with the agent manager and stuff, but honestly the Codex desktop app is ridiculous now. It's like OpenAI looked at all of their competitors like Claude Code, Anti-Gravity, VS Code, all that stuff, and they like really listened to what what people liked about it, and just put it all in one space. I'll walk you through it, but it works the way that you want it to. Whether you're a beginner or you just like the easier sort of workspace, you can just talk into the app and it'll spin up whatever you want. You can work in folders, you can make your own different projects and environments, that kind of thing. The other beautiful part is it's been updated recently where you can do your file explorer, right? Just like VS Code. You can open a browser. This is all within the app. So the most obvious workflow here is you're working on your code base on the left. You've got your local host on the right, so you can actually visualize the changes that you're making. And I mean, awesome. You can also work in the terminal with the lower shell right here. I'm on Windows, so it's PowerShell. Super, super flexible, and it doesn't stop there. Like I was saying, they've got all sorts of skills and plugins you can pull into your workflows to connect to your platforms of choice. Bring in, GitHub, Notion, Obsidian, all these different things. I think the most underrated part of this entire app is the automations. I've got them all on my laptop, but anyway, it's all of the hype you heard behind Claude Code. It's here, except you don't hit your rate limits in like 25 minutes, and these things actually, you can count on them to continue running, especially with the Pro subscription. Anyway, so that is the desktop app. I can't overstate how useful this is. It's a Swiss Army knife. It's like Batman. It's got like a tool belt for whatever it is that you need. I use the desktop app all the time, most notably for video editing. I'll give it a raw file and it'll caption it for me and, output something good. Another thing that I'm really excited about, you might have heard, is that Codex is now part of your ChatGPT mobile app. I'm really excited about this. I just set it up today because I just got access. I think it's because I'm Canadian, but either way, so you just go to your ChatGPT app, you click Codex, but you can see all the projects I've been working on in my Codex desktop app. They're now available on mobile, so I can continue working away from the desk, which is actually very, very helpful. But I mean, this is just the first layer of this. Like Claude does most of this too. You can argue whether it does it as well or whatever. That doesn't matter. Where OpenAI has the edge is because this is even more extensible than what I've already shown you. Okay, so what do I mean by it's more extensible? I guess real world example of how I'm using this is Codex doesn't just live in the Codex environment or the Codex harness or whatever. You can use your Codex subscription anywhere. Okay, a great example of that is I am bullish on the Obsidian environment that I've built out for myself because it is completely customizable. It's tailored to me, it's got the stuff I like, all that sort of things, right? Okay, that is exactly the reason why I landed on the Pi harness, and I'm able to build it out to work the way that I like. Codex is the only subscription that allows you to use that subscription with third-party tools. So I'm actually running my entire environment on my Codex subscription, and not just the Pi harness, which is again super good. I'm actually also using my Codex subscription for my Hermes agent that is running on a VPS. So Codex, of the frontier models, is the only one that allows you to use your subscription and not pay the retail API costs for running that model anywhere you want to work it. I mean, on that note, just to fortify how much usage I'm getting out of my $100 subscription, I just did a video on my Hermes agent and how much use I'm getting out of that, and I ran 180 million output tokens on my Codex subscription just in the background from my Hermes agent, and it didn't impact my usage on the Codex subscription at all. That was just the one agent. I'm still running multiple terminal sessions. I'm still running the Codex desktop app. My wife is now running the Codex desktop app on the same subscription. The GPT Pro subscription offers an absurd amount of usage, and it's just been great. One caveat that I absolutely need to address is I can't promise, depending on when you're watching that your experience will be exactly the same as mine. These companies change things all the time. I used to have a similar experience with Google Anti-Gravity, and now that is absolutely not the case. But for my use case and to date, the value has been absurd. It's not like which model's best, which whatever. It's which one is the most reliable and can I actually run my business with. Very clear answer is ChatGPT Pro. If you have a preference and something suits your workflow and your style better, then obviously that's the right tool for you. I've just found that I'm offered a lot more tools with the Codex subscription than otherwise. It feels like Batman's tool belt where I can use it absolutely anywhere. So I mean, if you're just getting started in the AI space and you've got the budget, I would say try as much as you can just to experience the options and see what's out there and pick your favorite, right? Like the $20 ChatGPT plan is actually really generous in terms of usage, and I think it'll convince you to upgrade to the 100 or more, which is what happened to me. If you want to get started with the Obsidian Vault that you see here, or the Pi harness, or any of the other things that we've been talking about with regards to skills and whatnot, you can click the link in the description. All of these resources are free. The idea is to give you a bit of a head start and an opportunity to experience different workflows for yourself. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. If you like that, click the video over here for more of the same, and we'll catch you in the next one.